Hello, so today I'm on my own, but this engine needs a few little bits more coming off it. So we've got the head to come off. Once we get the head off, we can then get to that spark plug a bit easier and tap this thread, and we'll check the inside of the cylinders, the condition, because it was sat for a while without a spark plug in it. So I'm worried water got in there. I flooded it with oil. We got to get that out, but I want to make sure it's not too nasty in there. So yeah, that's the plan for today. Get the head off, see if we can tap this thread. We'll reassemble it all. I'll put it on the jack. This may not be today, but that's the plan. The next steps, as it were, was to get this engine back on, put it on the jack, put it up near the bike, connect everything up, see if we can get it started. As long as you know it runs, we can then strip it all back and start painting little bits here and there. We got a little colour scheme in mind, which we'll reveal at some point. And then, yeah, we're going to paint the frame, the plastics, the tank, engine, everything, wheels. Here we go. So there's your little tensioner. You've got a little plate on the bottom. He's not all the way out, but he is a bit out. So now he's got a bit more tension. We can slowly undo these bolts. You don't want to undo too much at once, as you'll put too much strain on the other one. So you just slowly undo all of these on both of them, take this off, take the cams off, and then we should be able to get the head off with any luck. We'll just slowly turn them in some sort of order so that you're not putting too much pressure on any one connection until there's no pressure there at all, which at the moment it's feeling like that. But we'll keep going. Little turn, little turn, little turn. But as you've seen me do all this, I'm just going to keep repeating this process. I'll save myself some SD footage and I'll cut back once I got all these bolts out. Right, so we're nearly there. Just taking this side out. This side's all loose, ready to go. Kept a bolt in there. I'll do the same this side and we'll just be careful not to drop the cams, hopefully. Right, we're on the last couple of bolts. I've given up with the glove just for this bit because they're not too dirty, a little bit oily, but not getting my hands completely black. But it's just so hard to actually even use the ratchet or just undo them like this with those gloves on. So, right, so that one's out. I've got a feeling you're gonna have to give them a little tap with a rubber mallet. Right, see, it's got in written on it. I'm not sure what that number is. It's very weirdly written. Looks like 18. Really weirdly written. That could be something to do with when someone's checked the valve clearances, but we'll just knock this bit a bit loose. Hold on to this cam. Just wiggle it off. It's that side. There you go. Right, that covers off. Try and not put them in the way of you. Then we can take that one out. We'll put it somewhere very careful. Right, so that is that step done. The cams are off. I'll just quickly pick you up and show you what we've done. Right, I've just been looking through and I'll show you what we removed. And also I found something really interesting and you might want to see it. So for those of you that have been watching more than just this episode, this engine, the whole bike, we bought for £100 because the spark plug thread in the head came off or wore out, and the spark plug just flew out the top with the coil, and she hasn't run since. So we bought it for £100 because the dealership didn't want to have to come pick it up, do all that, and then fix it, and then probably make a loss on it. So we just thought, why not offer them a little bit of money? And we agreed on £100. So I'll get to that bit in a minute. So what have we removed? First of all, we took off. So first bit was just the covers. So, well, not covers, but it holds the journals in place. So we can sort of assess all of those. So you've got in an exhaust, and then this one holds the journals for where the sprockets go. You saw that when it came off. Then we've actually got the cams themselves. So that one is the exhaust, as you can see, X on there. And we can go, once we clean up a bit, we'll assess all of these lobes and just see how bad they're wearing, because this bike has got 50,000 miles, so it'll be interesting to see. But the interesting bit, I'll need my torch for this to show you, is in there. Can you see, I'm not sure if you can, that little bit of wire around that bolt? That is the thread. It nestled in there when the engine broke. Obviously it stopped running anyway, but when the spark plug came out, the thread from the headlight just fell out and is sat in the head now. Joys. So you gotta make sure we get all of that out. The next step for me today, to get this head off, is to take these out and be very careful of the shims. So I'm gonna get a bit of cardboard, I think, label it, and yeah, we'll keep it all organised, because that could easily lead to a massive headache if I mess up all the shims. So let me go find a bit of cardboard somewhere. Right, I've removed most of them. I'll show you the last one. So you got these little, what do you call them? They're like the valve spring caps, but then you've got a little shim. If you can see that, there you go. Little shim which magnets into the middle. So you got different size shims depending on clearance. So we want to make sure these are in the order that we put them in. So I don't know which cylinder Kawasaki call 1 and 2, but I've called cylinder 1 in the middle there. 1 is near the cam. That's inlet, that's exhaust. So you got 1, 2 for cylinder 1 in, 1, 2 for cylinder 1 exhaust, and then 1, 2 for cylinder 2 in, 1, 2 for cylinder 2 exhaust. And that's just how I've organised it. Basically, they're in the same order. If you picked them all up in that order, they would then slot in like that. But some bikes apparently, from my limited research, call them from left to right as you're sitting on it, and then some others call it from right to left. So I'm just doing it from the cam chain. That makes sense to me. So that's all the cam shims and buckets out. So next thing to check, this is from watching Superbike Surgery, so I'm not an expert, right? I am a dimwit trying to do this. If you need some actual good knowledge on stuff and you have any questions, watch Superbike Surgery on YouTube. He's very local to me, and join his Discord. You can join from £1 a month. We're not sponsored by him, obviously, but I'm giving a shout out to an honest workman who is a legend. If you join his Discord, you can ask questions in there. There's loads of mechanics and technicians who will answer, and they've got loads of data already in there. So yeah, don't come to me for advice. I'm just giving you what I'm learning on the job. Anyway, back to this. He's told me to make sure that these, I've watched him disassemble a few engines, to make sure that these aren't going to come out. Because if you lose them, it's a bit of a pain. So if they're properly stuck in, you may as well leave them, because if you try get them out and damage them, you got to buy a new one anyway. So yeah. Next step is to undo the little bolts there, remove that coil. I'll try to get that coil out actually. Not coil, what do you call it? The thread, the broken thread, so we can have a little better look at that. We'll take out all these bolts. We'll give it, and those two there, give it a gentle little knock and see if we can get the head off. But yeah, first things first, let's investigate that thread. Right, managed to fish it out. I had to use just get the torch in there and then use my little screwdriver until I could get into a position where I could just grab him. So look, we got the thread sat there. To be honest, I don't know if that is come from spark plug, because he's really long and he's really thin. So we need to investigate where that's come from. as I deep dive into this head, I'm sure we'll find out where it's come from, or if it is just curled up smaller than it is. Yeah, so now to remove those, what is it, six bolts? Yeah, you got 6 bolts and then 2 little dinkers on the side there. So remove those. Right. I'll join you back in a minute once I've got my stuff set up. I miss Max. He's so good at holding the camera and then getting good shots and stuff. Look at me. Hello. So we got 12mm socket to take these off. Again, we'll just undo them slowly. I don't know what these things are talked to, but good lord. Again, we're just gonna, just for good measure, crack them off in opposites. So after we broke a socket in the previous episode, we have started to buy some impact sockets. So we haven't got the full range yet. We got the bigger stuff. Now they're loosened off a bit, I can switch back to the normal socket. This is an important point. So this is also for me to document this. Short stubby one comes out of the top inlet side by the cam chain. Right, so you've got an extra long bolt in between the exhaust ports. They're the 3 that I first took out on the edges. Then the top left one by the intakes on the cam chain side, short. The middle one on the bottom is like 20mm longer. Right, so that's all those bolts out. Now we just got to tackle the 2 little Allen key ones just holding the head in place there. And then we'll give it a little bashy bash with the nice soft rubber hammer. We'll see if we can wiggle it loose. Be careful again of the dowels, and then the head should just slide off, but we'll see. And of course, one of those bolts snapped. The other one came out easy peasy. The first one I tried started moving. It didn't feel like it was too hard to move, but it must have been weak and it just twisted, but the bottom obviously wasn't twisting. I don't know if it was already fractured or something. It just went ping, and yeah, so I'm not even filming it very well. So that one there, he's still in there, so he's acting like another little, sorry my camera works terrible, he's acting like another little dowel, so just got to be careful when taking it off. Luckily we've got some tools already to remove screws and tap threads if needed, so now I've documented this, hopefully I won't forget it before reassembly. I just thought I'd show you the sorry little bolt. So yeah, I'll put him with his counterpart. Now it's time to give it a little knock, see if we can get this thing loose, start wiggling it out. I'll try set you up again. And he's starting to move already. See if we've got any movement there. A little bit. We've got a little bit of a wiggle. And right, I'll join you after I knock this head a bit more, because I don't want to waste too much SD card. Head is stuck on that one corner still. I've been gently tapping it, trying to wiggle it. That corner's not giving up, so I'm just going to gently heat it, not on the highest setting. Just warm it up a bit, see if we can get some of that corrosion to give way a little bit. I think it's probably just some corrosion or really tight gasket which I don't want to give up. So just apply a little bit of heat. See what happens. You join me. You joined me on the next day. After trying to get that head off, I had some difficulties. Then the kids got in from school. So I tried to do a little bit more in the evening, no luck. So I've come back out today. I've heated it, let it cool. It was just one corner, which I'll show you, that was just stuck, but we got it out. So the head is a bit minging. I mean, the cylinder is a bit minging. Not rust, as far as I can see. It's mainly sludge, which I put in there, but here we go. This is obviously the head and the old gasket sat there. There's quite a bit of carbon build up on there, look. Let's see if we can get that off. And then in the cylinder, look, can you see? That's all sludge. Basically, when I first got the bike, I didn't have any WD-40 to chuck down there, and I was panicking that there's water going down there. So I sprayed some chain lube in there and it congealed. But since then I've been putting engine oil in there, WD-40, anything I could find to keep the water from contacting the metal as much as I could until we could get in there, which has finally happened, but it doesn't actually look too bad. So I'm going to clean it out and we can inspect the cylinder walls once we've cleaned it. Bearing in mind this engine has 50,000 miles on it. Cam chain's in there. For that is the cylinders. And for reference, you can see, so our old pit bike is a 110. So you've got two quite large cylinders compared to one tiny little piston cylinder for the 110. So yeah, we're getting there. Just going to try clean this up as best I can, and then we've got to try tap the threads in that bad boy, put the new spark plug in, and then that's the actual repairing side done. This is where decisions start coming in. Do we check the clutch? Because I don't want to, we've got to take it apart to paint it anyway. So cam chain, we'll check the stretch on it. It may run for another little while before we have to do a cam chain change, but since it's apart, is it worth changing it? Depends on our budget. But yeah, if it's obviously too stretched, we have to change it. If we can get away with it for another 5-6 years, we might just do that. Who knows? But I'm very happy that's got off. That was a couple of hours of heating it, trying to get some oil squirted in the sides to lube up the dowels, smack it a little bit with a rubber mallet, not to cause any damage. As tempted as it is to use like a pry to get in there and pry it up, just don't do it, because you'll scratch or dent that aluminium head surface, the mating surface, and then you've had it. So yeah, just patience is key. Lots of heat. Just heat it, let it cool, heat the area, let it cool, just loosen up that corrosion or the gasket if it's sort of glued it on. Give it lots of wiggling, lots of tapping with your mallet, and eventually it'll come off. So yeah, there we go. Now we've got the joyous job of cleaning and trying to tap those threads. Hello. Every time. Hello, welcome back. So we are tapping threads. I had to make the hole a tiny bit bigger. I went up to 10 mil, which just got rid of the old thread really with a drill bit, and that allowed the tap just to slide in. And I've been wiggling it back and forth, adding some oil, and we're just poking out there. Can you see that? So we just got to keep, like, the last couple of mil were on. Then I was like, oh, I haven't filmed anything. So here we are. Try to get you a good shot of it if I can. Well, the threads are all the way out now, so we can go back the other way. Actually, we'll clean that off a little bit. Get rid of that swarf before we go back through. And then we just take the tap out like this. I'll just get this bit out and I'll show you the insert actually. So the insert is 19 mil. The other ones are too short. This one's 19 mil and it fits the spark plug. I'll show you, but it's very tight. Like looks like it's slightly too long, so I might have to shave a little bit off the end. I've seen some people online saying they've had to shave a little bit off the end, but we'll see. Anyway, I'll just get this tap out and then I'll come back. All right, I'll film you from on the table. So here, it's a 19 mil little insert. Here is the NGK. So it goes in just like that. And that is pretty tight, hand tight that is, not tools, but can you see? He's a little bit hidden, which I think is going to be no bueno. So I wonder if we have to take off one of the, either take off one of the little crush washers, because there's two on there, and it'll draw it back a bit. But let's try put it in. Let's try put it in the engine, and you can see how much it sticks out. We're back, and you can see what I mean. So that's a normal spark plug. Hold on, let me adjust this handle. Let's get the light on it. Right, that is a normal spark plug. You can see, obviously, protruding. You're not focusing, sir. And that one, you got a tiny little lip coming out. He's not actually much more than the spark plug is anyway. We'll do some investigating.
That is all we have time for in this one. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe if you like the video, and we'll see you in the next one.